Hey, what's going on? My name is Alex, and I am going to cover our different audio setups that we use. Now, this can either be for our DJ company or our live streaming company. I'm going to use the different scenarios when I would use something like this setup, and then when we need to switch to a setup like this. So for most typical situations, we are going to use our Behringer Xair mixer. Comes with the app. We run ours off of iPad. It's a really good system, and it's really good for setting gates, EQs, dynamics, getting more like a higher quality sound out of our microphones. We're able to do a lot of different things, and this is going to work for most scenarios. So this setup gives us the ability of using 12 different channels, and this gives us the ability to use 18 XLR channels. And this setup is more for bigger bands, more complex setups. This is going to be for basic live streams, and when we're doing our wedding packages where we only need a couple XR inputs and be able to run that from the app. This setup over here is built for 2 wireless microphones, where this is built for 4 wireless microphones. Plus you can do wired microphones, which I'll explain the setup here in a little bit. So what we have here is we have our Shure QLXD line of microphones. These are a really high quality microphone. I think I've used these up to about 400 feet away without cutting out. I mean, reliably 300 feet, I would have no problems worrying about these cutting in and out. So it's a really, really good solution. When you get the cheaper microphones, you worry about the signal cutting in and out. As long as there's a pretty good line of sight, should have no problem with these cutting in and out. So we use either 2 wireless handhelds, or what we have here is we have our lapel body packs that we can put on, like a minister, officiant, somebody reading by a podium, anything where they need to move around and still pick up some audio quality or high audio quality. We will put one of these on each one of those people. And so kind of how this works is you're going to go down here. You're going to select menu and enter. And what this is going to do is this is going to scan the room and try to pick up the best frequency so these two can talk to each other. Once those are done, you're going to hit sync. You're going to line this up together, and then once it's synced up, it's going to read good. If it says bad, then you need to pick a new channel and resync it. So we can run either 2 of these into handheld, we can run 4 of these or 4 wireless. So it really just depends on the different application, how many different people that we need to mic up in all the different scenarios. So that's one thing that we'll cover, but we do have the ability to do up to 4 wireless. If we need to do more, then we'll bring a combination of both these different setups. So it just really depends on what we're doing. This setup is more geared towards a band. This is more set up for our live streaming or like a ceremony setup. It's really nice because we can have the computer that stays in here. We can put the iPad in here. And then we have our mixer. It doesn't have as many inputs, but for most scenarios, this is going to cover about 90% of what we're doing. So all these have a power conditioner in them. We're going to have our wireless rack, and then we're also going to have the mixer. Both of these are powered by an iPad. Both of these setups, I'm going to break down some of the differences and the different use scenarios. So if we're doing a big band where we need multiple inputs and outputs, if we have multiple speakers, multiple microphones, we're going to use this setup over here. But most of like our ceremonies, cocktail setups, smaller live stream, then we're going to use this setup here. Everything is run from an iPad. We have this app here that controls everything. So that way we can go around the room. We can set all the mic levels. We can go and EQ everything. We can have fine control over like the gates, the dynamics. And this is a really good solution to fine tune the sound quality, effects, different things that we want to do versus just having analog mixer. The downfall is there's no actual knobs on this, so everything needs to be controlled from the app. This does come with a Wi-Fi network built into it, but it's not that great. So here in a little bit, I'll show you the solution that we use for this. So these are both nice, clean setups. It's easy to set up, tear down, Power's built in, everything is installed in the back of these. When we get to location, we just open everything up, plug everything in, and we're up and running. So one of the things that we do, as you can see here on this one, is we have a snake. So this box gives us 6 XLR inputs and then 2 1/4-inch inputs. And then what we can do is, you can see how thin this is. We can run this snake, put it at the front of house or up on the stage, and that way we're not running a ton of different microphone cords when we're hooking up like a band. So it's a really, really good solution. So for this little box, I think I paid $100. This will give us from where this is set up till about 50 feet. You can get different runs. You can do a box that's even an Ethernet, but it only has like 4 connections. So most setups that we do, small bands, this is going to cover about 90% of the different applications. And it's just a good solution when you have to use wired mics and you don't have the ability to use wireless mics, or you're going to have something that's going to be a lot longer and you want a direct connection. This would probably be the way to go. But like I said, in this box we have the ability to do up to 4 different wireless microphones. So you can see on here there is a Wi-Fi encode, and so what this does is we have a wireless router in the back of this, and that way the mixer talks to the router, and then that way we can get a nice strong signal to connect from the iPad to the mixer. So that way you can walk around the room, you control everything. Somebody's out there giving a speech, you can walk around the room and see how it sounds differently, and then that way you can do some fine adjustments and EQ adjustments as you're standing by them. So it's a lot different in your back of the house, usually behind the speakers, you can't hear the volumes. So this way you can walk around the room and then you can EQ everything to your guys' taste and liking, and it's just a really good solution instead of having to have 2 people adjust everything. Like the lapel mics, you gotta have a lapel mic on you. You can go stand where the efficient minister is gonna stand, and then you can EQ everything and just hear everything nicely. Now, when we get to a lot of different places, especially when it comes to our live streaming setup, they might have a church and they might have sound that's already there. The problem is sound levels for the people that are viewing it are completely different than the sound levels for the people that are hearing it on the live stream, and we need to have individual controls, so then that way we can send one signal level to the people that are viewing it live, and then also the people that are listening to on the live stream. And so that's why we went with this setup, so that way we can have control of those different levels, so it's a pleasant experience for the people that are hearing it in both scenarios, and this is why we came up with this kind of setup. All right, so in the back of this you can see we have our antennas. So when you get to an event, you're gonna have to hook up these antennas. These ones stay on it. So to get the lid to close on it, you have to take these antennas off. But you can see inside the box, we're gonna have a power supply. So that way we can hook up our iPad. So if you need to get to the event and charge your iPad, that's there. We also have our computer, and you can see on the other side we have a computer charging station. So that way you can plug it in, and that way when you're running off your computer, if needed for the live stream, you have power to the computer, and everything sits nice and tidy in here. You can see that we have a router. It's just like your normal home router for internet, except for you don't use the internet port. So we're gonna go from the router, and then that's also connecting into the mixer in front. So, and also if you want to run like a lights show and that needs to be plugged into the router, you can do that down below. So that's the basic setup and the applications that we use. We use this with the A10 Mini when we're live streaming. One of the downfalls is there's no phantom power. So we use a lot of condenser microphones, a lot of microphones that use phantom power, and this is the only way to be able to use a setup like this to do a live stream when we're having multiple different microphones. Like I said, we can use up to like 18 different microphones in this, condense it down to a stereo signal, and send it to the live stream. So these are the 2 common boxes that we use, and I'll show you how this kind of packs away and why this setup is unique. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, whether you use the 2 of the wireless or 2 of the lapels, you're gonna put those in here. You're gonna take these off. So these are going to get put down in here. Make sure your antennas are pushed down. You can unplug this and leave this down there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put on this back panel. Then from there you have the top. Put that on there. Close this down. Boom, you're ready to go. Has a slide out handle, got wheels. It's easy to pick up. It's a little bit on the heavy side, but it just makes it nice when you get to an event. You already got your computer, everything there. Take this top off. Undo the back. You got all the cords. Hook this into whatever you need. And so it's just a really good solution to keep everything contained. You don't have to unplug everything. Everything is plugged in and you're ready to go. If you guys have any more questions about either one of these setups, leave them in the comments below. My name is Alex with Portland Event Films. Thank you guys very much for watching this video.